Welcome back to the Hurley Welding YouTube channel. We're going to assemble a Howa Superlite chassis build that I've been working on for my personal rifle. This is the Howa Superlite Action, and this is the PPA CF chassis that I've designed. And you got a couple foregrip options that I'll show. I'll just try to keep everything in frame, but I'm just assembling my personal build, so I figured I might as well film it. I've already inserted 1/4-20 hex nuts into the hex pockets here and here, and I've already inserted two 632 by 1 inch long socket head cap screws here. I need to put 2 more in these, but you probably get away with just these 2. Metal recoil lug plate goes here. Test fit that. Make sure that the holes are centered. This process is pretty much the same for the Remington 700 and Howa 1500 actions too. There's just a couple slight differences. Pretty much all you need for this build is a set of Allen wrenches and Phillips head screwdriver. Just various tools that most people already have. Where's the 1/8 inch? There it is. I'm inserting a 1/4-20 by 1 inch long set screw in here. I've already tapped all the holes in the printed chassis. 1/4-20 tap and 632 tap are what you need. I'm going to put this set screw in until it barely pokes out there, so I'm going to tighten it later. And then the stainless recoil plate clicks down into that pocket. I'll put the action in, hold it together upside down, drop the bushings into their holes, kind of poke them down. Sure those are seated. Yep. Should look like that. Oh, there it goes. Okay. These are M6 by 1 action screws. I'm just going to loosely tighten them, get them threaded in to the action. Not going to torque them yet. Just barely snug that in just to hold it together. And I'm going to take my 1/8 inch Allen key, tighten the set screw so it pushes the recoil lug rearward into the recoil lug pocket. You don't need to over tighten that. As soon as you feel the set screw hit the front of the recoil lug on the action, just stop. You're just trying to push it back and keep it from bouncing forward and rear. Now that that's tightened, I'm going to give these just a little bit more torque, not the full value yet. Just to kind of seat everything. We'll torque those to final spec after the handguard. For this build, I'm going to go with the short fore-end because my goal with this rifle, since it is a Howa Superlite, is to make a really lightweight hunting rig. That will just slip on. and then 1/4-20 flatheads, 1/4-20 by 3/4 inch long flatheads, 3 of them go here. With this super short fore-end, the all thread is not going to be used. On my longer fore-ends, there's a piece of 24 inch 1/4-20 all thread that goes all the way back to this nut right here. But with this short fore-end that I designed, there's no room for it, and I don't think it's necessary. These just need to be snugged up. You don't want to go crazy torquing these. They just need to be decently tight with the short end of the Allen wrench or a T-handle. Just kind of snug them up. If you over torque these, you could crack the printed fore end right here. I've never had that happen. Alright, now I'm going to put my AR grip on. That's whatever bolt you're using should be a 1/4-20 by 1.25 inch long. Mine happens to be a Phillips head bolt. You could easily use a socket head cap screw or a button head, or basically whatever fastener you have that's not a hex head. 1/4-20 by 1.25. We want lots of thread engagement into the chassis so the grip is strong. That's why you want that 1.25 inch. The 1/4-28 by 7/8 bolt that comes with most AR grips will work, but it's not going to be as strong. Just snug that up. This is the buffer tube thread to Picatinny adapter I designed. That just is going to thread in the back. That looks like that. On my personal build, I have two 632 by 1/2 inch long flathead Phillips screws that keep this from rotating out. So I'm just going to drive those in. That just makes for a really strong connection with the rear of the chassis. Don't over tighten those, they just need to be snug. You also have the option with this chassis of using an AR style carbine buffer tube or the Picatinny adapter, or I also offer a 3D printed threaded stock that has these threads on it. For this build I'm putting this folding stock. These are M4 by 30 millimeter socket head cap screws. As you can see, there's no wiggle or play in that. It's a strong connection. Just a little discussion on the fore end. If you wanted to go with one of the longer fore ends, this is what one of those looks like. These are 1/4-20 all threads, and there's holes for those. This would just slip onto the front of the chassis, just like this one did. You'd insert these 3 screws, and then you'd slide in the all thread all the way, and that's going to go all the way back to these nuts here. You're just going to snug that up, and I used a nylock nut on the front of that and then grind it flush. Cut it and grind it flush. These longer forends are also really lightweight. They have M-LOK, QD. You can put an Arca rail, you can put pick rails, whatever you want. Now we're going to install the mag catch. This is a printed part. This one in particular is made out of PPACF. I'm just going to use a 3/32 drill bit. Clean out the holes on there. I've already cleaned out these holes, but you would just run this through here. Clean that hole out. Take your 1/4 inch OD by 1/2 inch or 5/8 long compression spring. Slip it in there like that. And then I like to use an Allen wrench or a piece of 3/32 TIG filler or whatever 3/32 pin you have that's not a roll pin to kind of get that in there. And we're going to just test the function of a AICS mag. For the Howa 1500 action, not the Superlite, you have to modify your AICS mags by cutting a little notch right there, but don't cut it too far because then the back of the casing will just run right out of the back of the magazine, so you still needs to stop. But you don't need to do this cut on the Howa Superlite, but you do need to grind the sides of the mag so they're thinner here. The sides of the feed lips need to be thin so they can fit up inside the Superlite action. That seems to function nicely. Take some needle noses and install 3/32 roll pin. Piece of 3/32 TIG filler works really good for a pilot pin on the mag catch. I'm using 3/32 by 3/8 long roll pins, one from each side, but the kit comes with a 1 3/32 by 1 inch long roll pin. Test the function, make sure that mag's not going to come out if you pull it, and then it should just pop out. And then of course at the range you want to load some ammo or snap caps and actually test the feeding of this combo. Finally we want to torque the action screws. I'm going to use a Wheeler fat wrench to torque the action screws. This is a very important step. You don't want your action coming loose in your stock. With most wooden stocks, I think most manufacturers recommend maybe 35 or 40 inch-pounds. I'm going to just torque these in alternating fashion up to 35, 40, and then I'll do another pass at 45 and another pass at 50. Might need an extension on your rear fat wrench to get down into this rear action hole. Now I'm going to go up to 50 inch-pounds. Everything is metal in between the screw head and the action, which is an advantage over your typical wooden stock because you can torque these a little bit more and the action's way less likely to move. That's 50. With that, we are complete. There's the Howa Superlite chassis, short forend, folding stock. And this whole thing is light. I love how light this feels. This has got the 16-inch barrel, 6.5 Creedmoor. We've got a QD pocket here, QD pocket here. This is gonna make a great lightweight rig. Can't wait to get out and shoot it. I just weighed this whole setup. It weighs 7.06 pounds with no magazine, no suppressor, but with the scope chassis, stock, bipod, 7.06 pounds. That is crazy light for a great little hunting rifle that's handy and short. I'm super excited about this build. Kits for this can be found at HurleyWelding.com. Appreciate your time. Thanks for watching.